turn the camera back on, you know, just so you can get a glimpse of how it is out here where my terminal is in North Carolina. We're pretty much in the middle of nowhere. And I don't like stuff in my windshield. I just don't. I don't know why. So I'm gonna take that down. But yeah, I was in the shop, man. My shop is real cool, man. I like being in my shop. The mechanics are pretty good and they're good people. You know, like I said, my cruise control wasn't working. And he hooked it up to the machine. And before the machine could give him the codes about the cruise control problem, he identified the problem. That's the difference between a mechanic and a good mechanic. You know, a good mechanic uses a logical approach and don't rely on a single, you know, a good mechanic is not tunnel vision and doesn't rely on just the textbook aspect of solving the problem. He actually thinks and uses logic and common sense. So while the computer was analyzing the codes, he was checking on other stuff that could cause the cruise control problem. And what he found was that there was not constant pressure of the brake pedal up against the sensor. Of course, I wasn't aware enough of the operation of the cruise system to know that that was an issue. But so we realized that the spring wasn't holding the pedal up against that sensor, and that's why it would go on and off and hit bumps and whatnot in the road. And so that's all it was that sensor. So that was real cool, man. I thought I was showing him the problem so that they can, in case they need to order a part, they can have it next time I come in. And I actually got the problem fixed while I was there, so that was great. That was great. But it was funny because y'all know how have you seen? Maybe you've seen it, maybe not. But when I get passionate about, so when I end up talking about something that I'm real passionate about, and when I get into it, then the person that's talking to you right now is not the person that's holding the conversation. The person that holds that conversation at that time has a different identity assigned to him, and his name is Hotwire. So we was talking about, started out talking about smoking, and something happened to me in Raleigh a few weeks ago when I asked a simple question. I really just was wondering how, you know, as if I was doing a documentary joint, but I just didn't have the camera on. I was just wanting to know, guys was outside, right? And so they were smoking, and I had to go in and get unloaded. I was like, oh, y'all taking a break, a smoke break? And he was like, nah, we don't break, we just smoking. I was like, oh. I was like, okay. He said, man, gotta bring back paperwork, man, so we can get started. I was like, oh, okay. And so I was just wondering, I was like, we were sitting there wasting time. I was like, so do y'all have a quit date? Or if you do, when is it? You know, I'm seriously wanting to know, had either one considered stop smoking? You know, it was a conversational type thing. I wasn't looking to get into a debate about smoking or whether you should stop this or the other. I was just wondering, had they thought about quitting? But as it so often happens, they took it as if, I guess I was trying, I don't know, but their response leads me to believe that they thought that I was trying to start a debate, or, you know, that I was, you know, there was something else behind me asking. So the guy says, quit for what? I mean, quit day for what? I said, smoking. He said, why? Why am I quit? I was like, why are you gonna quit smoking? He was like, yeah, why should I be quitting? I was like, okay, smoking causes cancer. We know it's hazardous to your health. It already costs a lot of money, and the price is going to continue to go up. Are you serious? Ask me. I mean, are you serious when you say why quit? This, that, and the other. I mean, I was just wondering, had you considered quitting? But when you say why quit, there's 1,000 reasons why quit. It would have been easier to say why not quit. They said, what do you mean? You got to die for something? They should have never said that with me, man. I hate when somebody say that, man. You know what I mean? Because that's ridiculous. It's common, I know, but it's ridiculous. To put it bluntly, it's stupid. Because you got to die from something, it's true. But because you got to die from something, that don't justify you intentionally doing something over and over and over that you know is highly likely to contribute to the disease that kills X amount of people every year. Don't know the statistics, you know what I do that does. That's my whole point. This is not something debatable. This is not something that we guess at. We know cigarette smoke causes cancer. We know that cancer causes death. So what do you mean? How are you going to sit up there and say you got to die from something? You know, it's just like, that's just crazy. Anyway, to me, when a person comes back with that it just can't be a thinking person. So I take it upon myself. I don't know. I mean, to me, it just can't. So I take it upon myself to see, can I present an argument in a way that enables them to actually look at the big picture and think about it, so that they will see how ridiculous it sounds to say, why about we gotta die for something, you know. But anyway, since the person still act like they didn't really see the difference in saying you gotta die from something and intentionally carrying on a habit that's not the same as dying from something, but it's killing yourself. It's basically voluntary suicide, really. I mean, you know what I mean? So because he refused just to actually look at it and just kept being defensive about it, and we just kept going. I just kept trying to. I just felt like I wasn't doing an effective job at opening his eyes to see it in a different way. And so what happens at this point is a guy named Hotwire surfaces, and he then becomes the person who carries on the conversation, debate, whatever you want to call it. So before you know it, we have an audience around, because Hotwire has a tendency to have an elevated voice, and it sounds like he comes from somewhere completely different, you know, upstate somewhere or whatever, but it's just this whole other dude that's different from the one that's talking to you right now. And for some reason, he has the ability to draw a crowd. So that was funny. So anyway, how I got to that is because in the shop today, the same thing happened. When we started talking about the economy, and y'all know my prediction on the economy, how 10 years from now we'll look back and think the recession was the greatest thing that happened to create a stronger foundation for America, and also revert the values of individuals back to an old school, you know, a total old school view of things, you know, back to the basics, the way that they think, the things that we do, the way that we interact with each other, the cooperation amongst communities, between neighbors, you know. All of these things are going to result from the recession, and right now we can't see it as a positive thing because it hurts so much. But anything that creates the level of change that the recession will create is going to hurt, you know. And so right now it hurts, and we don't see the benefits. But 10 years from now, we'll be looking back, talking about how much positive change the recession caused. And so, you know, we started talking about all that and everything. And before you know it, Hotwire was there in the shop, and everybody ended up surrounding the truck and listening to Hotwire speak. So that was funny. We had a good time in the shop today. You know? Anyway, that's it. What else do you want to know? Huh? What else do you want to know? I bought a new battery for the camcorder. This battery my other battery only lasted like 38 minutes and it was dead. Believe it or not, this new battery has 370 minutes on the screen. I'm like, wow. I just don't even know how to act right now. I'm gonna run out of film every time now because the battery just goes on and on and on and on like Duracell, whatever. It's crazy. I mean, I can burn up like 5 tapes, 5 discs, and 5 discs. Wow, I can burn up a whole pack of discs, 10 discs without killing the battery, man. Wow, it's crazy. I mean, I just don't know what to do. I wanted to get another camcorder. But I don't really have the money to go support another camcorder. So this battery is like crazy, but there's so much wrong with my camcorder. What's my light? I gotta get used to this. I was driving the other truck, man. You know, that was a Freightliner. This is a Volvo. I done got used to the switches in there. I gotta remember where my switches and everything is, man. So anyway, that's enough jabbering. I'm probably out of film. Put it